Katine, roll call, please.
Dr. Cordolino? Mrs. Fano?
Here.
Mr. Palma?
Here.
Mr. Petrosino? Mr. Rappaport?
Here.
Mrs. Smith? Ms. Zuckerman?
Here.
Mr. Daughtry?
Here.
Dr. Modrak?
Here.
Mr. Bruckhauser?
Here.
Ms. Patel?
Here.
Okay, pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Open public meeting notice, please.
The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provision of the Act, the Montville Township Board of Education provided a public notice of this meeting, which included the time, date, and location that was posted at the Montville Township Municipal Building, all Montville Public Schools, the Montville Public Library, the Montville Township Board of Education Administrative Office Building, the district website, and advertised in the Daily Record and the Montville Tap Into, the board's official newspapers, on January 15th, 2025.
Okay. Ben, Gia, who would like to go first?
I'm going to start off as usual. So we're going to start off with the past for the high school, starting off with the sports. So 2-year captain Logan McBurney is leading the boys varsity basketball team to a 15-2 record while solely winning their last 13 games out of 15. The girls varsity basketball team is now 7-11 with their most recent win being against St. Elizabeth on February 1st. A huge shout out to Juliana O'Dowd for hitting over 1,000 points in her high school basketball career. Varsity ice hockey is now 6-10-1 and are entering the quarterfinals tonight versus Mount Olive at 8. And varsity wrestling is now 17-4 with their next meet being tomorrow night versus Mount Olive. Now to the school-related subjects. So from Friday, January 24th through the 30th, midterms took place, including the makeup day. The Montville a cappella group, M-Pulse, won their ICHSA quarterfinal for the second year in a row. And a huge congratulations to Grace Herkay, Milena Sky Dorda, and Anthony Di Benedetto for winning the Best Choreography, and Alex Tarnock for winning Best Soloist. The winter track and field team also had a historic night on January 29th at the Morris County Championships, where 3 indoor school records were broken. Chris Sosnowski earned a bronze medal in the boys' 55-meter, running his new school record time of 6.61 seconds. The girls' 4x400 meter relay team of Lahari Thada, Sierra Turner, Sophie Hummer, and Alexa Amoroso also won a bronze medal, running a new record time of 4 minutes and 10 seconds. And Alex Pelov bettered his school record in the 1600 meter with a gold medal performance of 4 minutes and 11 seconds. Congratulations to all. Now I'm going to let Gia take the present and the future.
So earlier today, representatives from Mikey Sherrill's office came into school to talk to students in Mr. Riato's AP Government and Politics class. It was a very informative session. HOSA welcomes representatives from Hackensack Meridian Health to discuss careers in research this Wednesday at 2:20 in room 611. Students do not have to be a member of the club to join. Tomorrow at 6:30 p.m., the MTHS Incoming Student Orientation for 8th graders will take place. Incoming students and their parents will get a first glimpse into high school life and the rich and varied programs that MTHS offers. On Tuesday, February 11th, Key Club will be having an event after school in the cafeteria to paint ceramic hearts for those who need their spirits lifted this time of year. This is for Hearts of Hope. All high school students are welcome, regardless of whether they are Key Club members or not. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I remember when I was coaching, we played against Julia O'Dowd.
Yeah.
She was very good back then. I see that she's still doing well.
Yes, I think she broke the record, or the 1,000 points a couple games ago.
Yeah, she did.
So.
And they have a game coming up?
Yeah, they have one tonight, I believe.
Tonight? Okay.
So.
Oh, what time?
It was at 7, or it started at 7.
Okay, let's make this quick.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on then, superintendent's report.
Yes, we have several presentations tonight, and we're going to start off with really good news. I'm gonna switch this mic. And we, at Cedar Hill, we're going to recognize a life-saving situation. So, Lori, please step forward. I'd like to bring your attention to the heroic and life-saving actions of Lori Palafante, who acted swiftly and decisively in an emergency situation. During the school day, Lori noticed that a student was choking and immediately responded by performing the Heimlich maneuver. Thanks to her quick timing and training, she successfully cleared the obstruction, preventing what could have been a tragic outcome. Lori's composure under pressure and commitment to the well-being of our students exemplifies the high standards and care and professionalism that she shows. Her actions serve as a testament to the importance of preparedness and the dedication of our school staff to ensuring a safe environment for all. We would like to formally recognize Lori for her courageous efforts and her response in this critical moment, which underscores the invaluable role she plays in our school community. Thank you so much. Yeah. Yep. So Dr. Raj couldn't be here tonight. He was sick, but yes, please grab the mic.
I wrote something. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. So.
No, it's just us.
I'm glad you weren't nervous before.
Hello. Thank you so much, Dr. Gorman and Dr. Shorman and the Montville Township Board of Ed for recognizing me tonight. I'm extremely honored to be here as a member of the Cedar Hill Elementary School staff. While I'm honored to be acknowledged for my actions that day, the true reward is knowing that I was able to make a positive impact in someone's life. When faced with the situation that came about, it wasn't about being a hero, but more about the instinct to act quickly in an emergency. When I saw the child struggling, I didn't hesitate and jumped in to do what I had to do. Many years ago at my other place of employment, we were brought in on a hot summer day to do first aid training. Hesitant to be there because the beach sounded so much better. I went in and did what I had to do for training hours. Since then, I've been doing continuous training, and currently, I'm a proud member of the MERT team at Cedar Hill. I credit my quick actions that day to my job, my coworkers, both past and present, my principal, Dr. Raj, and our school nurse, Bonnie DeCola, for all the training and awareness that they've offered to me throughout the years. In the moment, I was nervous, don't get me wrong, but I was also very confident to know that I was trained to do my best. To everyone here tonight, I highly encourage you to take the time to learn basic life-saving skills, even if it means missing a day at the beach. You never know when you might be in a position to make a difference in someone's life. I'm so thankful for the positive outcome that day, and I'll forever hold January 3rd and that little boy in my heart. This experience has taught me that the true value of life lies in the moments we step up and act, not just for ourselves, but for one another. Thank you.
So we have the Historical Society here tonight. They've resurrected it, and it's back. So actually, the board, our monitors are down up here, so we're going to have to turn your chairs and move to a different spot to watch it. But thank you for being here to educate us about what's been going on. Thank you.
Hello?
Yep.
Can you hear me now?
Good, yeah.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for inviting us here tonight. My name is Anthony Angelini. Actually here for two reasons. For the Historic Preservation Review Commission, which I'm the chairman of, as well as the Historical Society, which I'm president of, and also introducing
Eileen Strasser,
who is
Historical Society Board Member, Program Director, and HPRC.
all right. If you could bring up the first next slide. Who controls that?
Mario, you got it?
So I just wanted to call your attention to two things. So the HPRC versus the Historical Society. The HPRC is a government board. We report to most of the Township Commission, the Planning Board, Board of Adjustment, and we hear applications from local historic homeowners. The focus of that particular commission is on the historically registered properties within Montville. Flip side, Historical Society is basically a 501c3 entity that works with multiple groups within the community, both government entities, educational, as well as local residents, as well as other residents from outside of town. And the reason I bring up the difference between the two is because a lot of times people get confused they think it's the same organization. And I'm coming to you tonight with both organizations, and if you could turn to the next slide. And I understand I have about 50 minutes to present this, is that correct? No, I'm just kidding. just kidding. All right, so starting out with the Historic Preservation Review Commission. As you can see, we've been working on a lot of different things, as well as things that are in progress now. And we're trying to reach out to the community. We're doing everything from putting together historic homeowner guidebooks, updating our historic data sheets, to actually conducting some archaeological digs here in town. Those are in the planning stages. What I'd like to do, and what we'd like to do, I should say, is to partner with the Board of Education and the Montville Township schools to try to get 2 individuals added to the commission. We have 3 openings right now. What I'd like to do is if we could get either a history teacher or a teacher who is interested in history to become part of the commission so that they can get that perspective on the commission from the township's educational departments. So that's one thought that we had. And the other one is we have another open position that we'd like to offer to a student, someone who is 16 years of age or older. They would be put as an alternate condition. We've already checked with the state. We actually are a CLG, which is a certified local government, which means we actually also report not only to the town government, but we report into the State Department of Environmental Protection, otherwise their division called the State Historic Preservation Office. So we've already checked in with the state, and they've agreed that we can have a position open for a student. Again, they would be put as an alternate, and this way, if they are someone who is interested in history and maybe going on to history major in college, it would be a great thing to put on not only on their resume, but experience that they could also participate on the commission, but also in some of the activities that we undertake, as well as eventually the archaeological digs in town. So.
Yeah, so send me the information and I'll definitely pass it along. I'll make sure we get some people to help you out. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. In that case, next slide. And now, going over to the Historical Society. So we resurrected the Historical Society back in November of 2023. As you can see, we've made a lot of progress, including opening up both museums, both the Montville Township Museum, which is located on 6 Taylortown Road, which is our one-room schoolhouse, as well as the Doremus House, which is our 18th century built home that is located across from Seabreeze. That is an original building from the 18th century. It dates back to 1760. It has never been modernized. It is on the local, state, and national historic registers, so it has no electricity, it has no running water, it has no heat, and it never has. And so that's an original building. So what we'd like to do, partnering with the public schools, is back in the day when the Historical Society was very active, there used to be school tours. So they used to take the 3rd grade classes and come over to the Doremus House or the Montville Museum, and they would conduct, a few hours of just going through, and we're able to answer questions and show them what's in the museums. If you can just go to the next slide, which we'll then come back to. So this is what the museums look like today. The Montville Museum, that's what the inside of it looks, and you can see that's actually the 3rd building that's been on that site. The original schoolhouses before it, dated even prior to that, which were originally used for the capstick factory, which were the factories that were located next door to it, which is now, unfortunately, a Superfund site. But this schoolhouse, as you can see, there's multiple artifacts in there dating back all the way to prehistoric times. We do have some dinosaur prints and some other Native American artifacts that are there. But we also have a lot of the different things that have come throughout the history of Montville, from In the back right-hand corner, you can't really see it, but that's our dairy corner, and it has basically a number of the dairy farms that were here in Montville at the time. We have artifacts from the post office, because this was also used at the post office. And there's a lot more things that we can use for educational pieces to teach the kids, what has gone on in the history of Montville, going back to the 1600s all the way to the present time, and again, prehistoric as well. Because there are plenty of archaeological sites within Montville, and most people don't know that. We have both prehistoric archaeological sites and a prehistoric site, and it's funny because, I know you're probably thinking dinosaurs, but I didn't even know this until a few years back, and that a prehistoric site actually means from Native American time frames onward, not the dinosaurs or going back to that time. So we do have a few sites there, plus all of the different historic sites. We have over 66 properties on the local historic register here in Montville, plus we have the Morris Canal. We have 3 historic districts. We have the industrial district. I mean, we are actually super rich with history here in Montville. Most other communities have no idea how much we have. Most residents have no idea how much we actually have. So we have captured a lot in that museum. And then the Dutch Stone House, which we open up twice a year because obviously with no heat, running water, it makes it a little difficult, for some between October and May. It gets a little difficult to be able to stand out there. Even as you can see, we do dress in period costume, and it gets quite cold. So those are the 2 museums, and the second one, the Doremus House, we do have some artifacts in there, and plus, again, we focused that house on the Revolutionary time period, which, as you know, we're coming up to the 250th anniversary of America in 2026, so there'll be a lot of more activities going on. But again, we'd like to open up both of those museums to classroom tours. So again, presenting that to you, getting your opinion on that. And then if you go back to the previous slide real quick. And what we'd like to also do is partner with the school system on future research projects or special events, getting the students involved, as well as eventually as we move on to performing more archaeological digs in town and archaeological surveys, we'd like to get students and teachers and others involved as well. So that's one of the reasons we're coming to you for here tonight. So any questions, comments? Is there anybody particularly we should work with directly?
I just want to thank you so much for doing this work. The last time that I was in the Montville Museum, it did not look like that photograph. There were artifacts piled, it was dusty. We had hoped back then someone would begin to take care of it, and here you are, years later, but here you are. If my son would oftentimes reenact at the Doremus House. He's now in Colonial Williamsburg.
Oh, wow.
But I wish that he had the possibility to be more locally involved more than he was. So thank you for opening that opportunity for our students. And I am a member, and I did plug membership for the board.
Why don't you plug the membership as well? How do people join?
Yeah, basically they can come to any one of our open houses. The museum is open the third Sunday of every month. And then when we open up the Doremus House for special events, which is the Pathways, which is on the first weekend in May, which is the first Saturday in May that will be open, as well is in, I believe it's October. I don't remember the exact date that we're open. But other than that, we do also have meetings on the second Wednesday of each month, except for July and August, and that's met at the Senior House. And also, we can also send you a membership form, which electronically, so that can be passed amongst the.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, so if you forward me the information, website, all that kind of stuff, I'll send it out. We have one of our renowned historians here in the audience, Mr. Riato. So he'll help spread the word to his history department and colleagues. But we'll get it out to the supervisor and the rest of the district, and I'm sure you'll be able to get some volunteers of students and anything you need.
That would be
Alright.
great. So we should,
Just send the
discuss it
information to me, yes.
you got it.
That'd be great.
I want to reiterate the thanks too, but I also want to ask a question. Have you done any work with the county in terms of getting Montville's role in Morris County and the Revolutionary War? Because I know there's people on the county commissioner board that have a similar goal as you, just countywide, and you could probably have worked together.
There's a collaborative.
That's
we have
great.
a collaborative going.
Yeah, we work with both we work with both the County Historical Society as well as the commissions. Dick Seabury is on some of the local commissions down there. We work with Amy Curry, who's the head of the Morris County. We're also attending a lot of meetings for Revolutionary New Jersey, which is the 250th anniversary. We actually will also be working on some of the heritage trails that they're trying to create. We qualify for 2 heritage trails in New Jersey, the colonial times, Revolutionary War period, since we have the Doremus House, as well as the one-room schoolhouse heritage trail, because we have a one-room schoolhouse. So we'll be working on projects with that, as well as we all potentially working with the National Park System as well, because it is a nationally registered building.
Yeah, again, thank you.
Mike?
Thank you. Sure.
Sorry. I guess I'll just shout. Not coming on?
Here, mine's
Okay.
Yeah, more specifically, the third Sunday of the month for the museum, what hours?
It runs from 1 to 4.
And for the Doremus House, I know you said the first Saturday in May.
Yeah.
Do you know a little more specifically, like what time? Do you have to sign up ahead of time, or?
Oh, no, it's usually open from 12 to 5, and that's first come, first serve. The first time we did it last year, we had over 130 visitors on the first time the house was open in about 8 years. And then the second half, we did one later in the fall, which turned out to be about 70 people showed up. So just you park over at Seabreeze, and then you walk over, and anybody's welcome.
Yeah, that's great. I never remember seeing any advertisement for it or anything like that. Do you do anything in Patch or anything like that to let people know?
We actually do. We do advertise in most of the local papers. We do have someone who writes for the Patch that has it listed out there. We put signs out in a lot of the local stores. We also have a Facebook group, and we also advertise in all the local large Facebook groups, Instagram. So yeah, we try to get the word out as much as possible. We also had signs around town too. So if you didn't see it, that means we need to do a better job the next time around. Thank you.
I guess I just wasn't looking. Thank you.
Well, no, I think we have to get one of those large banners that go across the street.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
No, the ones down on like Change Bridge and 202 where they hang them across the road.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Those are very good.
And also, as you're driving, if you see someone dressed in period costume flagging you down, that means we're open.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Business?
Thank you so much, we appreciate it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for
Thank you.
having us. Thank you.
And Lori? Unless you want to stay, it's up to you.
As part of the process that the district goes through in order to be compliant to the statutes, we, at the end of every year, have an audit that is performed to review our financial position, and we compile a annual comprehensive financial report that summarizes all of the events that occurred in the district, representing it in dollars and cents. And so tonight we have the district auditors, Rob Haig, who's going to come and do a presentation on the summary of that audit and the district's financial position as of June 30th, 2024.
Thank you, Katine. Just to give you a brief summary, the 23-24 annual audit was filed back in late December, early January. The deadline this year for that audit was January 15th, so the district met that deadline well in advance. There are 2 reports we file with the state on your behalf. One is the annual comprehensive financial report. As Katine stated, that's kind of the bigger report that has all of your financial statements in it, our audit opinions, related note disclosures, so really anything to be compliant with generally accepted accounting principles. The second report we issue is the auditor's management report. That discusses the results of the audit with any potential findings or recommendations that will require corrective action. So just to talk about the two reports in summary form, the annual comprehensive financial report, you received 3 audit opinions from us. One is on your financial statements, on whether they're presented in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. The second opinion is what we call the government auditing standards. It's required of any governmental entity. It's really more of an opinion on your internal controls over your financial reporting, so not so much the numbers themselves, but your controls over the financial statements. And the third one is what we call your single audit opinion. That's specific to your state and federal grant program. So as you receive state and federal grants, we're required each year to select a sample of those programs and audit them in detail to make sure you're compliant with all the grant regulations. In all 3 of those opinions, you receive what we call an unmodified opinion. It's basically the highest level of assurance we can give as auditors. You start at that unmodified level, and then if anything precludes us from issuing that unmodified, we reduce that level of assurance. That did not happen here, so you received what we call a clean opinion or an unmodified opinion in all 3 of those opinions. Just talk about the financials a little bit. The district ended the year with around $16.4 million in total fund balance. So what that represents is after the revenues are collected and the appropriations are spent, you're really left with that total fund balance of $16.4 million. And just to talk about where that money kind of falls, you had about $8.2 million in a capital reserve fund, so that's money that's put aside specifically for capital improvement projects. $2.3 million was in a maintenance reserve, so similar to the capital reserve, it's put aside in a separate account, and it's really for any maintenance of your existing facilities. So whereas the capital one is more for long-term improvements to your buildings, add-on to buildings, the maintenance is more for daily and routine maintenance of your existing facilities. You have about $2.1 million that is designated for tax relief in the current budget. So while that was still part of your fund balance at June of '24, that's currently being used in the '24-25 budget. And then when all of those shake out, you're really left with a surplus of about $2.3 million. That's really what we call unassigned fund balance, so it's not set aside any kind of reserve fund. And that represents about 2.5% of your total budget. So it's pretty much right in line where the state wants you to be. The state wants you to be around 2 to 2.5% of your budget in surplus. Anything over and above that would have to go back into a subsequent budget. So basically what that means is you're collecting your revenues and you're spending your budget basically consistently every year. Because you were pretty much at these same levels last year when we did the audit in June of '23. So your capital reserve, your maintenance reserve, as you use that money each year, it gets replenished. So you're basically very consistent year over year in your financial operations. And as far as the auditor's management report, the results of the audit, I'm very happy to report that for a second year in a row, we have no recommendations in the audit that require corrective action. So obviously, as we find things during the audit, we bring them up to the administration, try to clean them up and when we're here doing the audit. So anything we did find was cleaned up. Nothing rose to the level of any kind of audit recommendation that will require corrective action. So that's very positive on that front because, I think if you look at districts statewide, there's a very small percentage of audits that go out with no recommendations. So obviously it means the business office is doing a very good job. We did have what we call suggestion in the report that was brought up to administration. It doesn't rise to the level of a recommendation, but just something to keep your eye on. It really deals with unemployment bills coming in from the state of New Jersey. Every quarter the district gets unemployment bills. So you have some discrepancies in what the state is saying you owe versus what the district thinks you owe. So it's just a suggestion to keep on top of that to make sure we're reviewing those bills and remitting the payments for what we think we finally owe. So both reports very positive financially, like I said, very consistent from the previous year. So for a district your size to keep that consistency is very important, not only for audit purposes but for budgeting purposes. Kind of keeps you on an even keel each year. And to have an audit with no recommendations, that's very positive all around. So very happy to report the positive results. So happy to take any questions on the audit or either of the reports that we filed.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for bringing this report to us. And I would like to first say thank you very much, Katine, and all your staff. 2 years in a row. That's an outstanding job. I believe we do have a very good financial team in place, and they've done a wonderful job, and they deserve a lot of credit for this. But I actually have no real questions other than just to note that, yes, we are keeping on top of things because Katine does keep us appraised of what's going on. So I'll open up questions. John, you had something?
Agree. All the praise goes to Katina and her team on this 2 years in a row. You made the comment that we're one of a small group of, districts that have that. I was just wondering, how small is that group?
I don't know that off the top of my head. I mean, our firm, ourselves, we do around 80 to 90 school districts. I mean, if I had to take a guess, I'd say, don't hold me to it, maybe 10% of those audits go out with, no recommendations. So, it's very few and far between where you pick one up and you see none.
Great.
So very positive. So yeah, very, very small group. I don't have an exact number, but, it's certainly in the
yeah.
smaller group of what's out there for sure.
One can never shower Katine and her staff with enough praise, but let me just add on to what my colleague said. Thank you, Katine.
She certainly does not seek praise.
No, she shrinks away.
She shrinks away from it. Okay.
Anything else for?
Anything else? No?
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a good
Appreciate
evening.
it.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for all the advice you give us throughout the year and everything and coming in. We really appreciate it. And we have a
Sure,
great working relationship.
Yep, very good. That's
Absolutely.
excellent to have that during the year, so at the end of the year,
No,
we're
it's-
kind of,
it
we're in the
definitely
know
works.
too of what's going on.
Yeah, no, we appreciate it. And I too want to thank Katina and Diane for everything they've done to really make sure that this is really tight. And to have this 2 years in a row is outstanding. So it's a great job by everybody.
Agreed.
Thank you.
All right, have a good night.
Can we get a picture? Okay. Anything, do we have anything else here? You have
Yeah, so
anything?
I have two things I just wanted to report out tonight. One is the parents will be receiving a news letter shortly about Gaggle. Gaggle's a new software, monitoring software that we'll be using with monitoring students and how they're using our different platforms and different packages online. It's to ensure the safety and well-being of our students and their usage of school-provided digital tools. As part of this partnership with Gaggle, our district will be implementing the safety management solution for Google Workshop for Education. This technology will help us proactively monitor students' activities on school accounts, ensuring they are using these tools safely and appropriately. Gaggle combines advanced machine learning with the expertise of trained staff professionals to continuously monitor and review students' digital activity. Its systems analyze content in real time, flagging any concerning behaviors such as signs of self-harm or depression, thoughts of suicide, substance abuse, cyberbullying, threats of violence, and other harmful situations. And when necessary, then they alert the administrators, and then we'll investigate and look into this. If it happens after hours, on weekends, or something that late in the evening, then the police will be notified if it is a life-threatening situation. So this has been implemented nationwide for many years now. It actually has even saved lives. So we're happy to be bringing this on as just trying another measure to keep our kids safe. So that'll be coming out shortly.
Thank you.
And on that same note, I have to do the incidents reports about HIB and other things that are going on in our school district. So this is for the first half of the year, September 1 to December 1st, 2024. The incident total was 17 for all 7 of our schools. This was actually down 8 from comparison to last year. Violence, there was 4 incidents at the high school that were deemed violent. That means like a kid's got in a fight or something. 1 case of vandalism also at the high school. Both of these were down from previous year. Substance abuse, we had 1 at the high school. 0 weapons offenses. HIB confirmed, we had 11 overall for the district, which was down by 3 from last year. We had other incidents that led to a removal, like a suspension. We had 11 incidents like that. That's the same as last year. And we had only 10 HIB alleged incidences that were not confirmed. That's down 25 from last year. So we've made great progress over the past year. We hope to keep that going into the spring. And there's just been a lot of great effort by our teachers and administrators to make sure our students are safe and not engaging in this type of behavior. And that's my report.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for the superintendent? No? Okay then, let's go on to committee reports. Finance, Karen?
No report tonight.
Okay, curriculum, Michelle.
No report?
Policy, John.
Yes, we have a meeting next Tuesday. I welcome all of the board members, not just the ones on the subcommittee, to give us any ideas. We know cell phone use in the high school is a hot button topic, so we're happy to discuss that in more detail, and we'll let you know next meeting on how that goes.
Okay, thank you. Joe, communications.
We'll be having our first meeting on February 26th at 4 o'clock.
Okay, 26 to 4 o'clock. Okay, Christine, safety.
We are setting up our first meeting soon, so no report at this moment.
Okay. Delegate liaisons, New Jersey School Boards, Karen.
I'm sorry, my throat's a little scratchy tonight. A lot has gone on since our last meeting at New Jersey School Boards. The first is we conducted our first of 2 weekend trainings for new board members. This is a comprehensive 3-day training which hopes to create effective school board members. There's a second training going on in mid-February, and I was able to pass along some remarks at the January training, and I'll do the same in February. On July 30th, NJSBA had a finance meeting, and on the same day, we were able to participate in a joint session of the New Jersey legislature, where I was able to accept a resolution on behalf of the 5,000 school board members in the state of New Jersey in honor of January as School Board Recognition Month. The resolution was offered by Luann Peterpaul and Margie Donlin, and we're very much appreciate their effort to recognize school boards. It's the first time in the 24-year history of January being School Board Recognition Month that the joint legislative session came together in order to pass the resolution. On the 31st, we attended a Board of Directors meeting. The budget was discussed, and I'll just mention one item from the budget, and that is our non-dues revenue is going up, which takes the burden off of dues revenue. So that's been a lot of hard work by the association in order to make that flip. The other thing I'll mention is that new board of director members took their oath of office, including our own Joe Daughtry, who participated virtually and took the oath of office for alternate board of director for the County of Morris. And finally, I was not able to join my colleagues today. They're down in Washington enjoying a day on the Hill where they have a schedule to meet with a number of our representatives, including our Congress people, as well as some senators. So look forward to hearing back with a report. And that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Morris County School Board Association, Mike.
The meeting is tomorrow. Virtual meeting is tomorrow night.
Okay, Joe, Morris County Educational Services.
Our meeting is tomorrow night virtually at 6:30.
Okay, and drug awareness?
We have a meeting next Thursday.
Next Thursday, okay. And John, Morris, the athletic boosters?
Yes, next meeting is not until April 8th, and I just happy to report that I made contact. Thanks, Tom, for sending me the contact information, and plan to attend the meetings. They're going to send me monthly treasury reports and all that.
Great.
Our sports fundraising is very healthy from what I gathered in the first review of their finances, so that's good.
Okay, keep that in mind. Karen,
Depending on the sport.
Cedar Hill Liaison.
No report.
Okay, Christine.
No report.
Although, if you notice, they're doing a fundraiser, Tape Mr. Schwindel to the Wall. They're selling strips of duct tape, and they're going to put them on the wall and tape them there as a fundraiser. I love that idea. Okay, no Valley View. John, William Mason.
William Mason had a meeting this past Thursday. Unfortunately, I was unable to attend, but luckily I have a wife who's on the executive board and could fill me in. The big hot button was the playground. They are moving forward with fixing up the current playground, which is across the street, swings and things like that, and the soil samples tested, positively, not in the negative sense of the word, but
They were clean.
They were
They were
clean.
clean, yes.
Exactly, and they're going to move forward with some of the planned construction there.
Okay,
There's
thank
also
you.
a Valentine's Day fundraiser if anyone wants to buy stuffed animals for their kids. They're raising some money.
On the top of that, I think most of the elementaries will probably have and even Lazard High School, I think, have fundraisers, don't they?
I'm the only one reporting it, so.
Okay, then it must be the only thing. Okay, Mike Palma, Woodmont.
No report.
Okay, not even a Valentine fundraiser. No, okay. Joe, Lazar, Michelle.
Next meeting's March 10th.
Okay, okay. And then Mike, high school.
No report.
Okay. Okay. Public participation. Anyone wishing to speak about items on the agenda? I guess not. Okay, let's move on. Consent resolution for items I through N.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Questions on the minutes? Section J, gifts, grants, donations. K, facilities, finance. Any questions? L, personnel.
Just one change on L32 in the discussion area. The initials ABA are going to be removed.
Okay. M, curriculum, questions? And N, policy, nothing on policy. Okay, vote, roll call, please.
Mr. Palma?
Abstain on the meeting, on the minutes from our last meeting, yes on everything else.
Mr. Daughtry?
Yes.
Dr. Cordolino?
Yes.
Mrs. Fano?
Yes.
Mr. Petrosino?
Yes.
Mr. Rappaport?
Yes.
Ms. Zuckerman?
Yes.
Dr. Modrak?
Yes. Okay, next section's general board comments, new business, old business. Anyone have any comments to make? Okay, then. Second, public participation. Anyone wishing to speak to the board about any item on their mind at all can come forward. I see. You want to come up? Come on up. Yeah, take the microphone and tell us your name and address and what you would like to say.
And I am a parent of children at Cedar Hill Elementary School, and I live at 8 Smock Court in Towacco. And thank you so much for your service. And I was just so pleased to see Miss Lori here before too, and celebrate her heroic efforts at the school. I'm here with some concerns, both as a parent, also as an attorney. I'm a public interest attorney in New Jersey at Lowenstein Sandler. And of course, it kind of goes without saying, the elephant in the room. There's been a rash of federal policy changes happening very rapidly over the past couple weeks. And I'm curious how the board and the district will be responding to some of those changes. And I just wanted to note 4 areas in particular that are on my mind and that I'll just kind of be following closely. And I don't expect any, answers. I know that some of these things require probably legal analysis, but I just wanted to share that I'm concerned about them, and probably a lot of other parents are also. So the first is, some districts have been putting out some messages about how the board or the district or schools will be interacting with ICE presence when there are enforcement actions. It's possible that won't be a major concern given the demographics of our district, but I think it's important to have a policy in place so people know what would happen and how they should respond, particularly front office staff if ICE comes to the building, and what they need to look at. They need to require a warrant. They don't need to grant access without a warrant, for example. And there are trainings available. Our law firm is providing trainings to some districts on that topic on a pro bono basis. So that's kind of one area. Another one is, just kind of the implications of possible federal funding freezes. There was one announced last week. Of course, it was rescinded, but I'm curious how much federal funding comes through down to our district, and what, do we need to be concerned about programs being interrupted, school lunch. Both my children, one has an IEP, one has a 504 plan. Is there the potential that those types of services could be impacted? And it would be good to have some communication from the district and from the board about, what contingency planning is being done, just to allay some of the fears, the legitimate fears of parents and children. The third is, I'm curious what the district will be doing around ensuring that we continue to acknowledge LGBTQ individuals. There have been executive orders stating that trans people don't exist, and I'm just concerned about the mental health of our trans students, and if there is any kind of planning around that, and safety planning and mental health resources, and just kind of how the district is going to be dealing with that. And lastly, I'm interested in whether we can expect any changes in the way that history is taught in the schools, given that there are executive orders relating to history. There have been changes in how the federal government is addressing Black History Month, and I just, I'm curious about that. So those are sort of the areas I'm curious about, and I'd love to hear more, whether at this meeting or through communications that the district hopefully will put out to help us calm ourselves and calm our children, because of course our children become nervous when we become nervous, and it trickles down. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Were there any other comments from the public? Okay, would you like to?
Close it and then I'll-
Okay, so we'll go ahead and close the public participation. Tom, you want to address some of this?
You bring up great points. These are the ones you hit. I almost want to say ditto. I agree with everything you say. I don't know all the answers to all that right now. We have been in touch with our counselors and talking to them. Our attorneys, talking to them about that. Just regarding ICE, the laws and all that stuff. They just can't come into the buildings. They do have to have a warrant and things like that. If something like that did happen, of course, I'd be reaching out to our attorneys. Then we'd have to act accordingly. But they just don't get I know there's a misperception out there. They could just come into the schools and knock on classrooms. So that doesn't happen that way. Federal funding, we're very worried about that. We have a little bit over $1 million tied up with federal funds from the different titles, I think titles 1 through 4 we receive. And at any point, those could be frozen. But it's hard to speculate because I don't know New Jersey's response, or how deep it's going to go, or what's going to happen, or, it's hard to, I don't want to get ahead of it because all the information, like you said, things have been rescinded as soon as it was put out. So I did get a number of inquiries about that, but until things are actually laid out and then we have to react to it, I want to hold off on that. LGBT, yes, we're concerned about that, and we'll see, but we're always going to make sure that all our students are safe in our buildings. As you just heard about Gaggle, we continue the same policies to protect all students and make sure their rights are ensured. And history being changed, that's another one that's close to near and dear to my heart, Mr. Riado's as well, about what's going on. So we'll keep an eye on that. And then we have to see how New Jersey interprets certain things, and then we'll follow the direction. So you're spot on with all your concerns, and time is going to tell. But as they come up, and then I do have a response to them, I will be letting the community know. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
And if you do have any other information, we've been receiving stuff from the state. I've been sharing them out with administrators and stuff, but if you have anything, please share them with me. And we can't have enough resources to help educate everybody. And I'm having a meeting with the administrators next week, actually talking about many of these items that you just brought up as well.
Tom, you listed a number of the titles. Was that 2, 3, and
Yes,
1
so
through 4?
1 through 4, and then we have IDEA, which is special education.
And what kind of monies are involved? With
IDEA, like special education, it's $140,000. Title I's $100,000. Title II is $42,000. Title III, $17,000. Title III is $4,000. Title IV is 10,000, and SEMI is another thing that's tied into special education. That's 41,000.
Thank you.
So it comes out to about $1 million in monies that we receive.
Okay. Tom, one of the things that she asked about was lunch money. And with that one item, we don't actually get any federal funds for lunch, correct?
That's correct. We fund our own program.
Okay, so that we would be totally unaffected by anything then for
Correct.
lunch. Okay.
And just one other thing, so, and maybe you can jump in on this a little bit, but schools have to lay the money out ahead of time, and then we get reimbursed from the state or from the federal government. So if you were putting that money out, it could be frozen, you're not going to get it reimbursed the following year or something like that. Governor Christie did some of those things too. You were always behind on how he was going to backfill it, and then when he said, I'm not going to give you the money, then all the districts were on the hook for all that money, and then they had to find ways. So there's different ways that both the federal and the state governments can play around with how they're going to do things in the future.
And I would also just add from the perspective of the board, I hope I can speak for everyone here. We take our job seriously, and we do believe in the highest standards for not only our students, but our teachers and our staff. We've made quite an effort to make sure that personal politics don't interfere, and we encourage an honest education, free from bias. So we really do care up here as well. Thank you. Okay. Motion to close?
So moved.
Motion to adjourn, I
Second.
should say? Yeah. Thank you. Okay, good night.